Welcome everyone to episode 5 of Confronting Our Thoughts. We're back. It's been a long about 5 to 6 weeks, but the boys are back and we're pumped. We're pumped to check in with each other.
Boys are buzzing.
The boys are buzzing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So fellas, we'll just go around the room or go around the Zoom meeting and see what we've been up to this past month.
February 12th. So about 6 weeks into the new year. The new year has started off for me in a couple of different ways. Some good, some bad, but I'll just get into the bad. I did have COVID a few weeks ago, like 2.5 weeks ago. It was lining up right with the start of my semester. So uh, pretty shitty timing. And Uh, fortunately, I wasn't hit too hard, but it's still I couldn't really uh, go outside, like go to the gym and do my normal thing because I was contagious. So I did quarantine and stuff like that. But just low on energy and feeling pretty down about myself, so I wasn't able to be at my full potential. So that really puts a damper on how I live my life. So no one wants to be sick, so it does suck. But other than that, the semester has started for my second semester of grad school. And things have been going well so far. Just getting into the bulk of my classes and having clinical hours that I need to do weekly. So it's a lot, and I'm keeping a busy schedule, and I'm just looking forward to continuing with this and trying to learn and grow each and every day. And that's pretty much where my year's been. Starting off slowly but surely, we're getting into the things for 2023. But yeah, how about you guys?
How long were you out for the count for with the whole COVID thing?
What was weird, I went to Chad Scorn's house for a weekend. I think the weekend of like the 23rd. So it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I got home Sunday, and then that Monday morning I felt like a sore throat. Then that kind of went away, and then I was stuffy Tuesday and had some aches and headaches like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. I mean, I was still kind of like had congestion and like a head cold. Then my girlfriend was like had some headaches and stuff, so she tested herself and she was positive. So I assumed that I gave it to her. I just didn't know I had COVID earlier in the week because I wasn't really that sick, like, but I didn't know. So then I tested myself and I was positive. So uh probably to that next week, that next Wednesday. So a little over a week. Um, just kind of hanging out. We did take a lot of walks though, because we wanted to get outside, but we like quarantined together. But it was about a week and a half. So yeah, it wasn't the most fun thing, but
Look, I unfortunately I know your start off kind of similar, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, I kind of had the same situation. I was sick for, well, right now I'm on day 10 of this. Now that I know of sinus infection, finally went to the doctors a couple days ago because like I just could not get rid of this. Like I got sick about, well, yeah, 10 days ago, and it started off just as just a normal, like I thought like a cold. I had like a just a mild fever where I would just get hot and cold, just some little aches, some headaches, and just like stuffiness. And I'm like, okay, I can just get through this in like 3 days, like I normally do. And yeah, after day 5, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, this isn't me. I usually process this out like very quickly. And so yeah, I just ended up going to the doctor a couple days ago. So it was probably like day 6 of me being pretty sick. And that day I went to the doctor was probably one of the worst days. Like, just fever was really swinging. I'm just getting chills and I'm just have no energy. Like, I'm not able to sleep. Like, I think I got maybe 2 hours sleep that night. And that's like one of the worst things for you, just like not being able to get any rest for your body to recover. And that whole time, like I just felt down and like just felt sorry for myself. And like that's one of those things like I just don't want to feel like that. Like I don't want to feel that way because like I know I'm better than that. And I'm not trying to compare myself to maybe other people or whatever. But yeah, and like I think like the biggest thing for me was having like those realizations is like, okay, I don't want to be in this particular headspace where I just feel down and no energy, and like I want to be able to get out and go for a walk. And like that's one of the things I missed. Like I didn't go to the gym for almost 2 weeks now. Like I did go to the gym like earlier in the week, but didn't get the best of workouts. But yeah, like I know like I have my standards and I just wasn't meeting those standards, and that definitely did not help my mental aspect in trying to get rid of this sickness. But yeah, like eventually I went to the doctor, got me some antibiotics, and 2 days later I'm really starting to recover. I went from feeling about like 40% to now I feel almost good as new. It just still got a little bit of stuffiness going on, but other than that, semester's been going well. I started off hot from the new year. I think everything's going the way it should have been going from when we last talked. Yeah, that was New Year's. We were just kind of laying out our kind of our goals, and like one of my goals for the semester was just really pick up my studies from before I left for deployment, and I really have, and I've been. I wouldn't say I'm excelling in my classes, but I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would be doing for like how hard they actually are, and so I'm feeling pretty good about that. And there's always room for improvement. So yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna look to you boys for to improve myself. And yeah, how about you, Tom? What you been going on?
Well, yeah, no, I just wanted to, like, I mean, everyone knows like there's nothing worse than being sick, and there's nothing that humbles you more than being sick when your body is just like, hey, yeah, we're not doing. Not only are we not doing what you usually do, but like you're not even gonna feel like doing what you want to do or what you normally do that makes you feel good. So I feel for you boys. And yeah, I think we're always like trying to look at the bright side of everything, but every time I get done being sick, it's like I'm just so happy for the little things in life, like being able to breathe through my nose, like not having like body aches and stuff. So I mean, that's like if there is a good side, the good side is like when it's over with, you're happy. Obviously this runs out usually, but like you're happy about like the little things, like not even obviously they're big things, but you're not conscious of them when you're like, you feel great for months at a time or whatever. So
Dude, I don't know what it is, but like this, just like the world looks different. Like
oh my
compared to, like,
God,
from Thursday to
dude.
Friday, when I just started taking medicine, like I walked outside, I'm like, I feel like I could just like breathe, I could stretch. I was just like, wow, what is this world? Like I couldn't see like the light at the end of the tunnel when I was sick. I was just like,
Oh
what is going on?
Yeah, it's so easy to just like feel sorry for yourself when you're sick.
Yeah.
But you just feel like shit. But once you're over it, it's just like, man, I'm so grateful. Like now, like Tom said, for the little things. But yeah, being sick is just not ideal, especially like for us three, very active and like kind of go go go. Like when you can't do that, it's just like, man, I feel so just like down and shitty. But I mean, always like things could always be worse too. But it's hard to have that mindset and like certain perspectives when you're just down for the count in the trenches. So
And that's where I was. I was like, why do I feel this way? Like, why do I feel like so dark? Like, I don't want to have these thoughts. Like, I just feel like I can't escape it. Like, the hell's going on?
Yeah, and like we're guys that when we want something to get better, we'll just like work harder at it or like find like do it more consistently in our life. But like when you want to get better at not being sick, there's literally nothing you can do but just like wait. And like
yeah,
time is just ticking and ticking and ticking by. So yeah.
And we talk about like how we want to be grateful like every day, but like when you're just sick, it's like,
Dude,
dude, I'm thankful for today. Like, I feel like shit still. Like,
we knock on wood, hopefully this never happens, but we were 2 out of 3 sick. If it's ever like we're 3 out of 3, we just got to hit the record button and just let everyone know, like, listen, we if this sometimes life is this, and there's really nothing you can do but just like know that it will end one day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like how Zach said, like it can always be worse, but like when you're just feeling like that, and like I kept telling myself that, I'm like, man, this could be so much worse, but at the same time, I just felt so sorry for myself, and I didn't want to feel like that. And I know there's like other people just going through so much worse things. Like I could be in a hospital right now, battling leukemia. Shout out to the kids. We got Thon coming up next weekend, so respect.
Yeah. I didn't mean to ignore the kid statement. Well, Luke, you can let the people know what the hell is Thon.
So Thon is a philanthropy. I hope I said that right. Yeah, so we Penn State is one of the biggest philanthropy. Oh my gosh, I can't pronounce these words today.
That's a big word, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
very big.
philanthropy.
Yeah. Anyway, where we raise money for kids battling cancer or whatever they're going through, like for kids like such as St. Jude, those kind of kids, and yeah, it's a very good thing. I think last year, I forget how much they raised. I think it was what, 18 million?
It's crazy. It's a crazy number every year.
Insane amount of money. They have I think it's what, a 46-hour just straight up dancing. Everyone's just there dancing for 46 straight hours, just to raise money for the kids, and that's what they try to sell is it's for the kids. Well, I mean, you're not selling it; you're raising money for the kids.
Yeah, no, it's pretty special, and it's just, you can say what you want about universities and colleges and stuff, but there are some great things that do go on, and I mean, people remember that for the rest of their lives, and it's just I can just imagine. I've never been there, but I can just imagine it feels damn good to be a part of something like that. And I wish I could be like, hey boys, I'm right with you. I was like sick as shit, but I wasn't. I felt actually pretty good for the first month of 2023. I spent it overseas for work, and I don't know, I've been like trying to think about how I want to describe this to the people at home or describe how I felt, but on the job side, it's like, without getting too boring, it's like, you learn a lot. You're in a completely like different environment rather than doing what we do stateside. So there's like its own stressors and situations that you're put in, but it honestly, like you grow from it, you become better at your job. And the quote, like, pressure makes diamonds, that's like definitely real when it comes to like the military and like performing your job overseas, because like that's like that's your Sunday, that's your Sunday game or whatever. So that's a weird metaphor for it, but anyway, so that on that aspect it was good. On the downside, not really the downside, the other aspect of that is that you have a lot of time to think, to like kind of think like by yourself in a sense, because there are very minimal distractions, and it's not that you're not busy out there, but when you're working, it's just like that's the only thing you're focused on is that, and so you have a lot of time to just think about things. And I was just doing a ton of reflecting basically on the person who I was this past year, and to be honest, I wasn't necessarily happy with that person. And I didn't realize that at the time. And I know we talked about this a little bit last episode with reflecting on our years and stuff, but it kind of, that emotional valve kind of opened up a couple of nights out there where I was just like, man, I can just be so much better. And it's hard because, you want something, you want to be this better person, but at the end of the day, like, you have to understand that there's a reason you were a person you didn't want to become. And the moment you do realize that, it's important, because then you can grow. And yeah, like basically, like, you need that to happen. So it's like I never want to like move backwards in life or be that person I once was. So that's important, that's necessary. And I know I talked about this before, but like, you need those like you need those bad times to understand that, to just learn about yourself and grow and move forward. So there's definitely some nights out there where you're thinking, like I said, because there's just so minimal distractions. But other than that, like, I know we talked about this, Luke, like, it's awesome to develop a pretty productive routine out there. It's really like kind of same shit, different day, and everything is in like very, very small like everything's a small distance away, the gym, where you eat, and everything's just like boom, boom, boom. This is what I'm doing today. This is what we got going on today. Had some time to like also work on some school, which I was explaining to someone yesterday. It like helps you kind of like, because you get so caught up in your job and what you do out there that, you know, it is it is nice to kind of step away and work on something completely different. And I think, you know, taking online classes out there was huge in that aspect, because it just, like I said, it just kind of lets you disconnect a little bit and realize that, like, you know, this isn't your identity. Like, yeah, this is what you're doing out here, and this is why you're out here, and this is what we need you for. But at the end of the day, like, this isn't who you are as a person. And that helped me, taking those online classes really just helped me kind of disconnect from there and kind of looked at both sides and be grateful for both of them, rather than just being so caught up in this person and idea of a person. So yeah, a long-winded answer, but I mean, it was only 30 days, so there wasn't like too much out there, but it was, yeah, it was good. Learned a lot about myself, and also just like, yeah, just got better. So it was sweet. So all right, this is usually the time, we can be honest, it's usually a time of the year where people really just start to kind of go back to their old ways. And that sounds bad, but like, you know, the momentum of January and the enthusiasm you have for the new year and trying to become like a better person, trying to develop new routines, trying to kick bad habits. This is typically the time, these, like, you know, the 4 to 5 to 6 weeks into the new year, where typically people just kind of, you know, like, it's like nothing ever happened. They're all just now waiting for spring, waiting for summer to come back, and then the holidays will come back again, and then it's the same shit, right? Like, January comes around, we're having the same talk where it's like, yeah, I don't, you know, I want to be this better person. So yeah, so I think, what are some things that, you know, I know we've all kind of like been through very, very different situations this first year, but what, like, basically, what can we tell each other, or what are some things that we can tell the people listening that are 5 to 6 weeks into the new year, and just a little kind of reminder of like, hey, this is why you started, or this is a great reason to still try to become the person you want to be in 2023. I know we have a ton of quotes. Do you guys any ton of quotes you want to say, and then we kind of hit on them? Zach, do you have anything that stands out?
Well, I said one of them that I usually think about is like, it could always be worse. I mean, I don't know if you can apply that to this situation, but a few that I really think of, like mindset and keeping things in perspective, is do something today to make tomorrow better. So, I mean,
Yeah, what does that look like though, specifically for you?
Yeah, for me, that's anything, like even the small things for me, just like going outside, like what within my first hour of like waking up, just like getting myself accustomed to the day, just like little things for myself, to make myself better. It just feels like I'm making myself a better person, so then I can attack tomorrow a little bit differently. Or it's, you know, going to the gym and improving my mental and physical health and things like that. But I did want to say, because you said it's like the 6 week mark, 5 6 week mark, people usually like go back to their old ways. And I definitely am going to use this as a wake up call to hold myself more accountable, because some of the things I wanted to do this year, I haven't been so on top of. I started off really well, and then not making excuses, just like life kind of happened. I did get a little sick when I was home at New Year's, just like a little head cold, but then I got over that. But I was I wanted to read 2 books a month. And in January, I actually did do that. But I just feel like I haven't read in a long time. Like in the past week, I don't know if I have sat down and actually read. And I also wanted to like journal daily, which I was doing so much of in January when I was home. But then coming back out here, I just got away from that a little bit. So definitely I'm going to use this as a wake up call, and to the people out there, is that like, there's definitely going to be slip ups when you have things that you want to get done. Sometimes life gets in the way. And sometimes just other things might need your attention at the moment. You just forget some things you might want to spend more time on. So that's kind of been where I'm at. So I'm going to use what you guys say to help my life, I guess, get back on track to where I want to be. But I also have picked up on some things that have bettered my life. I'm gonna send a shout out to shout out to Chad. He got me into chess. I really do like chess. I've been like getting into it more and more. We play all the time. So it's like really stimulating for my brain, and it does make me feel better about myself to like uh it's like a distraction from my phone. If I'm like doing something with chess or like playing a game, like I'm not like gonna be scrolling social media or like doing things like that. So I do enjoy that part, and it's very stimulating for my brain. So it's like a kind of a hobby I've picked up. So I would just say I do want to continue that, but I want to get back into reading and journaling more because that's what I set to do at the beginning of the year, and I think those things make me feel better about myself and like contribute to kind of like my overall perception of who I want to be. Like those things are definitely involved. So I need to just get back on track with those two things. I don't know if I really answered the question.
No, you're good. I just wanted to ask you. So like,
yeah,
I think this is important when it comes to goal setting is that like one of your goals was to read 2 books a year. And
2 books a month.
I'm sorry, yeah, 2 books a month. Yeah, 2 books a year. 2 books a month. It's like a lot of people will set these goals and then it's like, okay, for instance, so I would ask you like, hey, this is the goal I want to say. It's like, why do you want to read 2 books a month?
Yeah, because I feel like reading just expands your knowledge, and I have so many different books that I have like in my bookshelf, I guess, that I've been wanting to read. So I just thought in this year, 2023, I could act on that and just maybe set a goal like I want to read this amount a month, and then try to hold myself accountable to get them done. But it started off good, but I think it's definitely slowed down.
Yeah, I mean the point I was trying to get at, and like, not that I didn't want to hear your why, but is that people just like, they know there's these habits they should be performing, or these goals they should be setting, but they don't like genuinely know why, or like they don't pertain that to themselves. And the big one is like, I just want to like eat better and exercise. And like, it's like, yeah, that's fun to say, but like truly, why do you want to do it? Not like because you should do it, but like truly why. um and I don't know, and like, some people it's just maybe because you don't want to die early, or like you want to be able to see your grandkids and like be able to go for a walk for your grandkids. And I know that's very harsh, but that's the reality. And it's like, you like, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, like, who the hell do I want to, like, I'm setting this goal because I don't want to be this person 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Because that's the reality, is that when you truly set a habit, or you truly develop something you're going to do day to day, that's going to impact your life decades from now, truly impact it for the better or for the worse. And that's like truly up to you. So I think people like, I don't know, I'm just kind of sick and tired of people just kind of like saying all of this shit. It's like, listen, like, if you don't want to be someone that you don't want to become, then you need to change. The world isn't going to change for you. The people around you aren't going to change for you. It's like, it's solely up to you. Like, there's no other decision maker in your life but you. Like, you need to do it. And like, you need to, quote, do the damn thing. That's like a quote we said, it's that we want to hit on today. It's like, do the damn thing. And what does that mean? It means actually perform the habit today. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about 7 weeks down the road. Just do on February 12th. What do I need to do today to make myself a better person for February 13th? And like, everyone has those lists of things. Now, I know everyone's situation is different, and I'm trying to say I understand everyone's situation, but I know you can figure it out. And I know there's 1 to 2 things that you should do today to make yourself better for the next day. And then guess what? You stack that shit on for weeks, months, years. You're going to look back 5 or 6 years from now and then be like, dude, wow. Like, all it took was action day in and day out. It doesn't necessarily get easier, but you develop what's called a habit, and you're going to start doing things subconsciously. I tell people, it's like, you've developed a habit when your day consists of, like, before that, you'd be like, all right, how am I going to fit this into my day, this specific habit? Let's say go to the gym. It's just an easy one. How am I going to fit this specific habit into my day versus that'll transition into like, how can I fit my day around this specific habit? Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it kind of transitions to where it's like, oh, like these habits I'm performing, they're a necessity. There's no other way around it. It's just like, how am I going to be able to do all these other things around this habit that I know I need to perform because it makes myself feel better and it's good for myself, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's long-winded, but I just wanted to, like I said, it's this period of time where people start just falling off and go back to their old ways, and it's just like a reminder. It's like this isn't kind of about current you. This is about you down the road, who like you need to become the person you want to be in life. And I know that's very like serious, and I don't even like to take life that serious a lot of times, but some people need a damn wake-up call, and maybe it's, we all need wake-up calls sometimes, and maybe like, some listeners need a damn wake-up call and realize like, hey, this doesn't this life doesn't last forever. And we can get into a quote I wanted to hit on, Luke, and then I'll kind of transition to you, Luke, if you don't mind. So it was not really a quote. To be honest with you, I saw an old person the other day. Not that we don't all see old people, and it just kind of, my wheels were turning, and I was like, holy shit, that person wasn't always old. Like that person was once 23 years old, trying to figure out life, trying to figure out what they want to do, try to balance between living in the present, like whatever these things that we're going through right now. That person was doing that. And what I'm trying to get at is like, this fraction of time is going to end. You know what I mean? Like this period where it's fun and it's exciting is going to end. Not that life gets boring, but it starts to get real. Like it starts to get real soon, and I don't know. There's also just a wake up call for me to be like, damn, like that is the future, obviously God willing, hopefully I make it that far, but like, man, I let's stop taking this for granted. Let's truly enjoy everything that entails being young in our ages. And like, kind of, what does that look like? Well, it's like, it's enjoying this moment while also like having this aspiration and drive for the future. It's like, it's that balance, right? It's like living in the present while like trying to chase your paradise. And life is a constant battle, I think, between those two ideas. I think it's important to absolutely enjoy the present and do things day to day that help you become more present, while also understanding that you need to work on yourself for future you. And yeah, what I'm trying to say is you're not always young. And that old person I saw, shout out to them. Like they were young once. So it was just a very simple way to kind of like wake myself up and kind of just motivate me that day, or not even motivate, just like, man, I got to keep going, because like this doesn't last forever.
Sorry, it's just crazy that you say that, because like I was just thinking the other day, like I was thinking about my dad, like, because I saw a picture of him like when he was like really young. I'm not gonna lie, we kind of look similar, but like obviously I'm a little bit more sexier, because like when I'm at this age, when he was at that age, I'm able to grow facial hair. But anyway, besides the point, yeah, like I was just like thinking about like, what was that man think about in that time frame? Like, did he know like he was gonna have kids when he was a little bit older? Like I just wanted to know like what was kind of going through his mind at that point. And that's something I'm definitely gonna ask him like one of these days. But yeah, that's really cool how you were thinking about that. And yeah, so anyway, kind of get into some quotes I was thinking of. Mine were pretty simple. Like I was just thinking of, don't blame yourself. Don't blame anyone. Don't blame others. Don't blame anything. Don't put any blame on anything. And where I was kind of going with that was like, uh, one of my things I do in my routine is I try to like walk every morning, and I've just kind of gotten away from that. Like, and it's one of those like real simple things that I try to do like every day. And I just kind of asked myself, like, okay, I haven't done this in, I don't think 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. And I started like making excuses of like, oh, it's too cold, the weather's shitty. Like, I don't want to put the blame. I don't want to make excuses on stuff like that. Like, I just want to. I don't know. I don't know how to like really go anywhere from that. But like, yeah, the way I want to kind of fix that is just I want to start small. Like I used to kind of go on like maybe a 1 mile walk, so that maybe be 20 minutes, depending on my pace that day. And I think I just need to really kind of start small and maybe just go for like 10 minutes, just do a quick lap, just to get back into that routine of just doing this simple thing I need to start doing every single day. And like another quote I want to kind of go off of, and this I'm really going to mention this guy a lot throughout this podcast, is David Meltzer, and he says just to be studious of your calendar. And that's one thing like I never really had. Like I never really had a calendar. Like I would just have stuff to mark down. Like okay, I got an assignment due this day. I'm just gonna grind it out the night before or whatever. And I really didn't want to do that this year, so I got myself a calendar, and I'm not really trying to get in too deep with this. And I'm not too sure how you guys feel about this, and you can definitely chime in with this. Is like how do you guys feel about like having a set calendar like throughout the day, like having like okay, at this time I want to have this accomplished, at this time I want to have this accomplished. Like how do you guys feel about that?
I mean, it's definitely, I think, beneficial to have things in writing to go off of. Some people might need that. It's like a way to hold yourself accountable if you just like maybe slacking off and you view your daily tasks you wanted to get done today and you say, oh well, like I need to start doing this. So I think it's good to have it down in writing for something to refer to. And having just a calendar in general and just writing down things, I think probably go a long way. Even though it is like it is pretty simple, but a lot of people don't do it. But I think it could be beneficial.
I'm a to-do list guy. So I'm an iPhone guy, so I have like these are the notes, but I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, let's show the receipts.
All right. Wake up at 06, eat, shower, podcast at 07, call mom while folding clothes, take class exam. Anyway, all right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But listen, and so the here's the most important, like here's why I love it. It's not necessarily like, yeah, I like it's nice to like get what I need to get done. But when you check everything off or you check something off, it's just like it's like, oh, okay. And now it's like, all right, I'm gonna chase that like high of like checking that block off to the next thing and to the next thing and to the next thing until you know it's like days complete. And like sometimes like, oh, and I have like, 90 minutes or whatever. Like it's like 90 minutes just like to myself and like I'm doing whatever I want, but that's anyway, so scheduling to-do list kind of the same, those can kind of go under the same family for the most part. And I don't want to like kind of overwhelm people with all of these like things to do, but like Luke kind of said, it's like just start small. And I know we talked about this before, but it's like maybe today just literally, hey, to take care of like to do something for my health today, I went for a walk. And like the important part of that is not necessarily the walk itself, but it's just that you got into the mindset that you're going to do something for yourself. And yeah, that's the most important part, because when you're now when you start getting into the habit of doing things for yourself and taking care of yourself, you're going to want more of that. And Matthew McConaughey has a quote. He says he's egotistical utilitarian. Now, like, all right, what does that mean? So egotistical, obviously you do everything for yourself, and utilitarian is someone who does something for other people. So you're like, so his mindset is like, I take care of myself, I do these things for myself, so therefore I can be there for others. And I think that's so big, because it's like people kind of get this twisted. They're like, well, I don't want to, like, I want to go like spend time with my friends and be there for my family stuff, and all that is important. But when you realize that when you take care of yourself, truly take care of yourself, you're in a better headspace for those who care and love about you. And what I found is that if people start to kind of look at you a weird way because you're maybe making some time for yourself, not in a weird way, but people start looking at you and like, hey man, you're being selfish and not spending any time with us, or like, why are you doing all these things for yourself? Then that is kind of should be a wake up call for you to be like, hey, maybe you're not like truly someone I want in my life if you can't understand that I'm trying to do something for me and I'm trying to take care of myself. Because the majority, or realistically, they're probably not taking care of themselves, and maybe you don't want them, like, or maybe they're jealous or whatever the reason may be. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you'll start to think clearly, and yeah, so like take care of yourself so you can take care of others, and I think that's important, because people usually get it twisted. It's like, well, I don't want to do all these things. Like, I don't want to constantly be looking after myself and all these things, but like, you need to. It's just like you're your only. It's just you in this. Like, this is your journey. This is your dream. Like, it is about you, and so therefore, you need to be in the right headspace, and you need to have a good relationship with yourself, so therefore you can have a good relationship with others, because no other person will be able to fully fulfill you. It's just you can only fulfill yourself, and so therefore you can be there for others. Like, there's a quote, you can't pour from an empty cup, meaning like you can't give to others if you're not full within yourself, or truly give to others if you're not full within yourself, and those other people aren't going to be able to fill your cup for you. Right, they might be able to add, a couple sweeteners or something like this, but like, truly, you're the only person that's going to be able to fully fill the volume of yourself. It's about you. So
yeah, you can't care for other people if you don't take care of yourself. And I just had my first class this last week of this one class. We didn't meet the week before. We went around for things we're going to do for self-care this semester. And self-care is like a big topic nowadays, because the world hectic. We all have disabilities and things like that, and it's just interesting to me, your self-care or what you do for yourself to be different than what other people do for themselves. So some people said want to be outside in nature more, take more walks, or they want to take more baths. They want to shop. That's how they're going to self-care, or they're going to put their phone down, play with their dog. And it's just like, what do you do each day to set aside some time for yourself? Like, what are you going to do yourself to kind of, whatever you want to call it, decompress or relax and make yourself feel good or better? What are you going to do? And I think it's important to note that it's going to be different for every single person. So like, what I do for self-care is probably different than what you guys do for self-care, and everyone's vision of self-care is a little bit different because it's just perception. So I just wanted to point that out as well.
Yeah, we can kind of go around, like, Luke, what are some things that not maybe that you've done recently because due to your situation, but what are some things that you want to start doing just like for Luke? Like, what is Luke going to start doing for himself?
Honestly, I have no idea. I just want to kind of go off like Zach's thing. Like, I see like a lot of people like on like the self-care thing where I think they kind of get misconstrued. I don't know if like that's like a right word for that, but that sounds like a big word. I'm going to use it. I'm going to claim that. Anyway.
Big word, guys.
Yeah, like I think they go shopping and they just blow all this money. Like, oh, and then they post all over social media, oh, I'm doing self-care. And like they go to like the Starbucks or whatever. And they're just doing all these things just to make them feel good about themselves. Like, I don't like, yeah, I think you're feeling good in like that moment, but do you necessarily consider that self-care? Like, would you guys consider that self-care? I would consider that self-care in the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's tough. I mean, we're not here to like,
we're
not here to tell people like specifically what to, and like, listen, we don't, we're idiots. We don't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, I think it's important to like, listen, at the end of the day, if you're doing something, whether it's objectively good for you or not, that's not necessarily maybe the most important part at the start. Just that you're getting into the mindset of like, I'm doing something for myself. And that's like the first step, right? Not necessarily the context of what you're doing, but maybe that you're just like, hey, I'm going to take care of myself today. I'm not going to worry about these other things. I'm just going to do something for me. If that looks like going to spend like, $300 at Lululemon, listen, like, that's for a beginner, but like, that's, at least you're in that mindset, right? Like, that's a start, because I mean, it's sad, like some people never even get to that point. You know what I mean? They're so caught up and they don't even know what it feels like to take care of themselves, because they're so caught up on other people. They're so caught up on what other people think of them. And so, yeah, I mean, we're not going to tell people specifically what, I mean, we all kind of generally know what a human being needs to be healthier, right? Or to take care of oneself. And so, I mean, like, hopefully they'll probably get to the point one day where they're like truly doing some things that are like objectively healthy for a human being, you know?
Yeah, dude, and this is why I love this
Yeah.
shit. Because like I feel like to myself, like, okay, I'm like judging these people, and when you guys are saying this, it's like, okay, I'm catching myself doing that. And that's why I love how we like come together and we talk like this. Like that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're, you know, I say like, I don't want to ever kind of never compare yourself either, right? Like whatever's
Yeah,
good for them is good for them. Whatever's good for us is good for us. Like we're all trying to figure this out together. And so like, listen, I'll be the last one to, like, you know, until that starts impacting you in a negative way, whether it's your significant other or whatever that's doing their self-care in a, you know, and not necessarily the most objectively healthy way, then that's where you maybe need to step in. But for us right now, it's like, listen, we're just trying to help ourselves more importantly. And then maybe just kind of give some, you know, just kind of remind people of what it's like to, you know, just keep ourselves on track and try to figure this whole thing out this year. So
Yeah, like building off that, I think when Luke, you said like considered self-care. I mean, for them, that's one's different. That we can, like, we know what our body might need daily to actually be like better along in the future, and things like that. But for some people, their self-care might literally, just for an example, like they might go get us and just walk it, and they might just think that that's self-care. I mean, who are we to say that that's not self-care? If it makes them feel good about themselves, then it makes you feel good about yourself. So it's just it's all about perspective. It's like everyone's different, has different things that make good about themselves.
listen, like I said, there's so many people that like we all struggle. Like life's hard enough. Like if that's whatever gets you to kind of, you know, whatever gets you to start feeling better, and that's, you know, you're not hurting yourself or other people. Listen, then that's the most important part, right? Not necessarily the context of what you're doing, but the fact that it's not like illegal. You know, you're not harming your body, you're not harming others, people you love. Like that's the most important part. So, um, yeah. Basically, who are we to say? Who are we to say that?
Yeah, like I was just kind of going like, okay, so like I have my calendar and like I'm just like I'm starting small.
Yeah.
Like I have my morning routine down. Like okay, I want to do X Y Z in the morning, and then like my calendar like for the month, like I just have like certain shit like my assignments I need to have done. And like one thing that it puts on me is just some stress. Like as like days count down to like okay, I have these assignments due. Uh, it just gets stressful as the time gets closer to having these things that need to be done. Like I just wanted to ask, like, do you have any like stress throughout the day? Like say like, okay, I want to have this done by this time on your to-do list. Like, do you feel any stress towards getting that done?
Yeah, I mean, it's all context based. But for the most part, I like the whole day-to-day thing. I don't have a calendar. I don't really do like long-term goals as far as like specific assignments and stuff like do, because I just like to kind of look at life like in a day-by-day aspect. And like, because to be honest with you, that's kind of all we can control. Like I can't control Monday, I can't control Tuesday right now. The only thing is I have this Sunday to worry about and to kind of make my most of. So what can I do in these whatever, 24 hours like to maximize this day, based off of what I need to do. So that's why, to answer your question, that's why I like to work kind of smaller and not look at the month. To me, that would also be kind of overwhelming. It's like, oh wow, look what I have 3 weeks due from now. Like I don't really want to worry about that. I just want to worry about this one day and how can I take care of my P's and Q's for this one day, and then the next day, the next thing, and then you look back at the month and you're like, man, look what I did each and every day, and then I built like this kind of snowball effect or this domino effect, right? So I'm a kind of a smaller focused guy. Um, but yeah, but also with that being said, like if I know something's due Sunday, I have an idea of like, all right, what day would be the best for me to put that on my to-do list, or to like not, or kind of chip away at that on a Friday. And then so therefore I can chip away a little bit at a Saturday. So I'm not spending all day Saturday or all day Sunday working on this one thing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I honestly, like I said, I think it personally would also be overwhelming if I had a calendar of all these things I need to do. Instead, I have, one single note of what I need to do today. Like, this is what we got to do today. Like, let's attack today for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's kind of a point where I want to get to, like just uh having just small things like written down throughout the day, like I want to get accomplished. But like what do you just have the bare minimum things, or like do you have like, okay, I want to get all these things done throughout the day, or like how do you normally organize like your day?
Yeah, so I mean, like it depends, right? So like when I on days I work, like today's Sunday, so I have more time to work on things outside of work. But like what Monday is gonna look like, it's like wake up, work out, work, like probably, and then my last thing on every day is make a to-do list. Like my last thing on my to-do list is to make a to-do list for the next day. So it might like it literally, so that's where it kind of changes, right? If I'm working till 5 or 6 that night and I want to be like in bed by 10, like I have a very short like 3-hour window that I have to do, and so it will definitely kind of change throughout the day for the most part. But also there's some days that's like, no shit, man, like I got to get this done, and so therefore I might need to stay up a little later, or sacrifice something on the front side or back side for that. But for the most part, it looks genuinely the same. Like I work out. If I like do laundry, I have to one of my goals is also to read more this year, so it's always read is always on there. And yeah, and then if there's like, and I kind of have an idea what my school is going to look like for that week as well, or my assignments I'm going to look at for that week, so I'll know if I need to kind of front end them on during my work week. If not, then I'll usually do those Friday or in the morning, Saturday in the morning, Sunday. So I kind of have an idea. And like for people start, like it takes practice. I've been doing this for like started to do this like over 2 years ago. Now there's some times, where it's, I kind of fallen off. For the most part, majority of days I've had a to-do list. So this is something it sounds weird, but like you kind of develop a skill, like it is something you got to work on. So don't get like too caught up if like you make this huge to-do list today and you have 4 things you still have to do, unless you literally are missing deadlines or things like that. Like that's okay. You're going to have a better gauge on what your day will look like. But when you have things to do throughout the day, you will definitely maximize your time. That's what I found a huge part, is that I actually am maximizing my days rather than like I tend to not forget things, or I tend to not forget things when I do have to-do lists rather than when I don't have them. So that's a huge thing. And so it's like, oh, I'm supposed to do this today, whether it's like grab some groceries or something like that, like those little things that kind of just like mess up your day to day or kind of get you in a weird headspace, because it's like, man, I got to go drive to the grocery store now and it's like 9 p.m. or whatever the case may be. So recommend starting small, like with everything, but to-do list, man, that's way better than, that's helped me a ton. That's what I'm trying to say. Matthew McConaughey, like he's a big to-do list guy. He's like, he said in an interview, he's like, yeah, have some fun with your to-do list. Like, I sometimes I put on my favorite shirt. And I was like, okay. He's such dude. The dude's awesome, man. He's like such a good way, dude. He's a fun dude. Well, all right, fellas, we kind of gave, we talked about a lot, and we talked about a lot, but really we're keeping ourselves accountable for this year, and hopefully this will also keep some listeners accountable, as well as keep myself accountable, keep each other accountable. So listen, it was nice to get back on here and catch up with each other, and I'm fired up. I'm like, I gotta go. I can't wait to attack today. We did a little early morning record sesh, so I'm pumped to start the day. So I mean, this was a great.
Yeah, what's next on the list after this? If you're pumped up.
I'm a Sunday mom call guy. So the sun's rising right now, so I'm gonna go for a walk and call my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got Folsom Laundry, take an exam, and then it's Super Bowl time from there.
Go Birds!
Go Birds! Go Birds! All right, fellas, we will. Hey, so if you made it this far, you're a real one. We completely forgot to sign off the episode properly, so I'm just get on here and let you guys know that Luke, Zach, and I are grateful for you guys. And we're gonna try to be way more consistent in the future with uploading. We apologize for the break, but all of our lives are kind of hectic, and we're we're trying our best out here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you.